Back here at Summit League Media Day in Sioux Falls, and now joined by Rodney Billups, the head coach of the Denver men's basketball team. And Rodney's crew was able to work themselves into a pretty respectable season after, I know in the non-conference got off to a slow start, but then you got the big road win at North Dakota State, and then things started going really, really well. One of the top three-point shooting teams last year in the Summit League at 40%. Of course, Jake Pemberton is gone, who was one of the top 5 individually, and Daniel Amigo is gone, but still plenty of shooters back from this club.
Absolutely, and we're excited about Joe Rozga's summer. Joe Rozga, first team all-conference player, and trained all summer with NBA guys and European players. So excited about what he's going to bring to our team again for his senior season. And when you bring 7 new guys onto your team, you don't really have a clue what you're going to get. But in practice, I think we've had 17 or 16 practices so far. I enjoy watching our guys and competing with our guys.
You know, with a guy like Rozga, he's always been such a good floor general. We're seeing some highlights of him right now. He can distribute. He takes care of the basketball. He obviously shoots it really well. I always wonder, what's the next step for him? What do you see for that in your eyes?
The biggest thing that I've challenged him with is just to be a leader, a vocal leader. And he's always been that put my head down and get to work kind of guy. And his challenge now is to be more vocal and to share what he's thinking. And teach our young guys. We have five freshmen, so it's important that these guys learn from him and learn what he's thinking, and he can certainly make them better players.
Brian talked about how well your team played towards the end of the year. You guys won 5 of your last 6 games, and looking back a little bit at some of your stats, you guys averaged over 80 points a game during that nice run there. Was there anything offensively that you felt last year clicked with your team, and more importantly, can that carry over to this year?
Last year I kind of just got out of the way and let them play, and tried not to call too many plays, just let them have fun and be who they are individually, but also coach defense pretty hard. And that's my coaching style, and if I can do that earlier in the year, I will. But our schedule lined up to where we have, I think, 4 out of our last 5, maybe even 5 out of our last 6 at home. So having that confidence and being able to win at home certainly helped our finish.
And I know last year when I looked at your team, you guys distributed the ball so well, #1 in assists in the Summit League. But ironically and curiously enough, #1 in the Summit League in turnovers as well. What do you attribute that to? That was kind of that's a unique ends of the spectrum, you'd have to say, probably.
Kind of our style of play. And if you look at James Harden or you look at Jason Kidd for an example, those guys led the league in assists and turnovers. Nobody talks about the turnovers. And it's just the way we play. We try to play early in the shot clock and get the ball out there in transition. But also, when the game is slowed down, we try to share the ball. So, it depends on the day.
Well, we mentioned Jake Pemberton has graduated. You're certainly going to miss his shooting, but Daniel Amigo, probably, in my mind, one of the best big men that we've seen in the Summit League in quite some time, no longer there. How does that impact your team, both on the offensive end, but I'm even more curious defensively, because I thought he was a great presence protecting the rim.
Daniel was great for us. In the 2 years that I had him, that our staff had him, we saw growth every single day. And we tried to play through him and make him a focus, and now hopefully he's doing the same thing over in Europe where he's playing. But to fill that void, we have Torrey Stewart-Millard from Colorado, a transfer, a 5th-year transfer. We have a young kid in David Nzekwezi. So we have guys, we have bodies to be able to cover his productivity. But, we have to find out. We have to see when we lace him up against Maine and throughout the season.
Yeah, ironic, another Nzekwezi in the Summit League, his brother Emmanuel and Oral Roberts. That's going to be an interesting dynamic when the Golden Eagles play the Pioneers this year.
Absolutely, it'll be fun.
Ronnie Carroll's another guy that you know very, very well because I believe there's a relation to him. Him coming over from Creighton, what does he add? Because he's a guy that's played in a lot of big games on a big stage at Creighton.
For sure. His leadership, his ownership, and it's one thing when you get a freshman on campus that is wide-eyed and kind of green, and then you get a 5th-year guy who this is his last chance. This is his last opportunity to show what he has. And he seems to think that Coach Mack at Creighton didn't really give him the ball and didn't really showcase what he can do. Well, he's got a chance now. And the way we coach, the way we play, I'm going to give him the ball and let him make some plays and let him make some mistakes, but also coach him and challenge him defensively. And he can do both. And I'm excited for him to be able to put the Denver on his chest and represent our school and our city. But also I want to challenge him too.
So all of us experts in the media have you pick third in the preseason poll. Take that for whatever it's worth. But what do you see as the greatest needs or steps that you'd like to see your team take to maybe really try to move towards the top of the Summit League? You guys have kind of been in the middle the first couple of years.
Right. I think the camaraderie in our locker room, the leadership and the accountability that our guys give one another, that is ultimately how we make the next step. And I think third is generous with our league. I think our league is underrated, and there's some really good coaches and some good young players in our league. So being third is good. I'll take that any day of the week. I'd rather be third than first. I'd rather not have the target on our back. I'd rather be able to target some guys. So third is good, and it keeps us hungry. It certainly opens the eyes of the freshmen. But also have some pride about the seniors and the juniors who want to be first.
You're able to mix together a pretty good schedule this year. I know the high majors, Kansas State and Gonzaga are the two kind of big ones, but you're able to play some games on the road even closer to home and then get some really good home games as well. Kind of talk about the non-conference before you get into Summit League play at the end of December.
Well, we like to challenge our team with the Wyomings and the Air Force and the Mountain West of the world, and also play some high major guys. And for us to go to Kansas State, for us to go to Gonzaga, that was really our locker room talking. They wanted to go and play the top 10s and the top 20, 25 programs in the country, and they get what they asked for. And I'm ready to see them get out and compete and have some fun doing it. But also we go to Seattle and play 3 games in 3 days. And that was our staff's thought to preparing for March and what we might see in the conference tournament. So we certainly have some games that will challenge our locker room, certainly some games that will challenge our coaching staff, and that's what we want.
So I want to delve in a little bit to year one. You're a rookie head coach versus last year 2. What steps of growth did you have as a coach? What did you learn in year 2?
Year 2, like I said earlier, just get out of the way and let them play. And trust the guys that we've recruited and trust what we do in practice and let them just have some fun. Take care of myself off the court.
Okay.
Get some exercise, enjoy my friends and my family, and not take things too serious and not beat myself over the head over a loss, because it's part of the game. Yeah. This year, going into year 3, I'm hoping to have even more fun and let the student athletes kind of judge where we are and not be so over the top of them and beat them up as well as beat myself up.
Two guys that also took tremendous steps last year, Ade Murky and Donovan Carlisle as well, coming back for the Pios. Let's go to Elena Lanson for some of your Ask Your Coach questions today.
Hey, Coach, good to see you again. And we have a couple quick questions from fans. First of all, how do you coach grad transfers differently than the other players in your locker room?
Well, try to hold everyone accountable. It's hard to kind of decipher the two, right? And you want to give freshmen and sophomores more of a rope to mess up, and seniors and postgraduate kids kind of a tighter rope because they should know better. But having these 2 gentlemen now fresh in our program, I have to give them a long rope as well and let them kind of mess up and bump their head. As the season progresses, it'll get a lot tighter, and I'll hold them more accountable to leadership roles and being the echo that our coaching staff needs in the locker room. But for now, it's just fun and holding everyone accountable to the same standard.
All right. What player in the locker room is going to have a breakout year, not with the name Roscoe on the back of his jersey?
I hope to say everyone. I'm not really concerned with the huge leaps. I'm a small victory guy. So if we can get Ade Murky to continue to progress and Jake Krafka, those guys just to continue to take steps forward, I'm okay with that. But if I had to put a name on it, Ronnie Carroll Jr. and Torrey Miller, they help our team and our program and our culture so much. I'd like to see those guys kind of take the next step.
Now we got to hear your elevator pitch for all recruits that come to visit.
this is my elevator pitch from floor 4 to 1, right? Really quick. Denver's never been in the NCAA tournament. We have a chance to do something that's special, something that's never been done before. And I'd like you to come join our program, our culture, and help us do that and solidify our culture and what we do so we can celebrate that tradition.
Thank you much, as always, Rodney. Best wishes to you, and we'll see you down the road. We know you make plenty of trips to Dakota in the snowy winters. We look forward to that.
Thanks.
Rodney Billups joining us here. Stay tuned. Oral Roberts Women preview coming up next.